Hello and welcome. I'm Gustavo Maestre, CEO of Nexus Talent Connect and Novius AI recruiting software. I've led recruiting for several companies like Qualcomm, MassMutual, Guild Mortgage, and Sony. Like many of you, I was searching for the most effective way to navigate the transition to AI recruiting tools and found the answer to be a bit complicated. Many tools offered little advantage or relied too heavily on unproven technology. More concerning was that when I would speak to business leaders, most of us were in a wait-and-see mode. As someone who cares deeply about our industry, I couldn't allow somebody in a lab to make decisions far removed from the people who actually recruit. Hence the birth of Novius AI Recruiter. AI where you want it, human where you need it. It's been designed, tested, and adapted by recruiters for people who recruit. This is a landmark moment. We're not just launching a product, we're introducing a paradigm shift in how we approach recruitment. Welcome to the future of talent acquisition. Welcome to Novius AI Recruiter. Now let's face it, passive recruitment today is broken. No matter how long you've been recruiting, it's always been the same challenge. You need more candidates faster. But look at the hand we've been dealt. It's a nightmare navigating multiple platforms, tons of administrative work, lots of unproductive follow-ups, several expensive search tools that may still struggle to find the candidates you need, and a poor candidate and hiring manager experience that this can cause. Not to mention that since we use a majority of the same tools, the level of competition for talent can be unprecedented, even in this current economy. And recruiting can get stuck in the middle. These are genuine issues that keep hiring managers and recruiters up at night. Speaking of what keeps hiring managers and recruiters up at night, we asked a pool of beta testers what keeps them at night with their current recruiting tools and applicant tracking system. And I'm sure from this word cloud, any of us could have answered this question. Lack of talent, unqualified applicants, outdated software, massive costs, and too much competition. Now, imagine a solution that tackles these issues head on. Today, I'm excited to unveil Novius AI Recruiter, your AI-powered partner in recruitment. This is not just another tool, it's a complete transformation. Built by recruiters, Novius leverages cutting-edge technology and multiple patents to make hiring seamless, efficient, and beautifully human. Novius is more than an enhancement. It's a new category of HR software. There's a glaring gap in the recruiting, and let me share it with you. You may be as floored as I was when I made this realization. From right to left, you have your HRIS, or Human Resources Information System. That manages information and administration of existing and prior employees. Then you have your ATS, or Applicant Tracking System. This manages information and administration for applicants. Applicants are wonderful, but most companies rely on recruiters and people who recruit to find passive candidates or people who aren't looking or engaged with your brand. Isn't that a shockingly large group of talent that isn't addressed by our current HR and software stacks? Now, Novius does not fit into these old categories. It's a new breed of HR software. It fills this glaring gap with something completely new, the PCS, or Passive Candidate System. This isn't just talent management, it's strategic talent acquisition. Now let's cover the functions below and beyond this list on the next slide. Imagine job descriptions tailored to your company's tone, instant access to over 1 billion profiles, deep AI insights to assist with resume analysis, and automated personalized communications. Our AI doesn't just process data, it understands it, providing comprehensive candidate summaries in addition to creating tailored assessments and position-specific interview guides. Then it also protects your organization with instant AI notes compliance. This is recruitment reimagined. Novius isn't just theoretical, it delivers results. Our users report a 4 to 10 times increase in candidate volume, a 40% reduction in hiring time, improved candidate quality, and a smoother hiring experience for everyone involved. Imagine what a positive impact on attrition when AI narrows the field, recruiters select their top candidates, AI provides precise skill matches and comprehensive job descriptions. The process is faster with automated scheduling, and candidates receive additional vetting through position-specific assessments and interview guides. Then the person recruiting can spend more time relationship building, selling your brand and culture, and thus increasing candidate acceptance. Now compare that to the old keyword search based on job title and hoping the hiring manager likes the candidate. Novius is a game changer, plain and simple. And what sets Novius apart? It's the perfect blend of cutting-edge technology and human-centric touch. Our system is intuitive, integrates seamlessly into your workflow, and significantly reduces your cost per hire. Novius is not just an investment in your software, it's an investment in your company's future. Now, just to set up the demo, let me share a word cloud with the feedback from that same group of recruiters and hiring managers that tried out Novius. They love the AI functionality, the speed, abundant candidates, the automations, etc. This is how users should feel about the tools that they use. And now the moment you've been waiting for, the live demo. Now let's explore how Novius can transform your recruiting in real time. We're going to go ahead and run through the demo, and just so you know, any kind of questions that you may have, feel free to drop them into the chat. Because of the size of the call, we'll answer as many as we can at the end, and then don't worry, anybody left over, I will reach out to you personally. And also, don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn if you aren't already connected. Now let me go ahead and pull up the demo here. All right, so welcome to Novius, everybody. Here we are at our dashboard. Now, this dashboard here this is kind of a sample account, so some of the data isn't quite filled in. But from here, you can see your number of open jobs, the days, the aging of your jobs. You also have your interviews done, so these are the ones that you've already completed, and then how many you have left to be scheduled that need to be completed as well. Then you have a nice graph here that just shows the status of all of your jobs and the different current status that they're in. And then also here to the right, this is your campaigns overview. So because this automates your email campaigns, it gives you information in terms of reply rates so that you can tweak your language in your emails if need be, or see what your response rates are within certain industries in that. So it's just nice, clean, and simple, enough to keep you going here. Now, we go in here, the navigation for Novius is primarily going to be top to bottom, and this is all done for simplicity, but we just go to jobs. And for the demo here, it looks like I'm looking for tons of talent acquisition managers, but like I said, this is a demo account here. But let's go ahead and we can create a job. Now, if you have an existing job description, you can just drop it right into here and then create your search. But if you don't have one, you have the ability to create one. Now, this comes in handy a lot because either maybe a new job started at your company, or you don't have a job description, which a lot of people who work in talent staffing agencies run into that quite often, that clients don't have it. So rather than emailing back and forth, waiting days, or just Googling it and trying to create a job description, you have the ability to let AI dive right in and do something that could take 30 minutes, an hour, or longer into just seconds. So in this case, let's go ahead and let the AI create the job description. So you have the ability to name the job. And then you have the position itself. So you have two different fields. This way it's able to fill in for you whether you're working at a staffing agency or internal recruiting. Now, another nice feature is you have the ability to color code your jobs. Now, you may want to color code temps a certain color, corporate jobs a certain color, even locations. If you're recruiting in EMEA, you may want one color, or North America. In this case, we'll go ahead and pick a nice green here for the talent acquisition manager. Now you have the company name. Again, this can be used universally between in-house recruiting and staffing agency. And then you'll type in your location, and then you can put in your minimum years of experience. So right now you're typing in the basic parameters for the Novius AI to interpret it and collect the information needed for the job description. You can also add in additional details, like it says here, hybrid, remote, or anything else that you want to include. You can enter in your hiring manager. So obviously, if you're in-house or working at an agency, that can come in handy, and you have the ability to sort that when it's needed. And then one of the nice features here in Novius is if you want an idea to see if your compensation is in alignment, it is able to pull compensation based on years of experience, job title, and location. So in this case of this talent acquisition manager position, we can get the estimated compensation, and it runs here 64.5 to 153,000 here in San Diego. Now, there is some variation in here because this doesn't take into consideration what industry the person is in, since different industries, if you're working in warehousing versus tech, these will have different ranges. But in our case, let's go ahead and we'll just put in a salary here. And then we can go ahead and create the job. So this is loading those parameters into sort of a landing area to begin the AI job description. So it carried over our information, as you can see top to bottom here. And then now we can go ahead and create the AI job description. Now, you have two different versions you can use. You can go with a marketing twist, and that would have some sales language in there to entice candidates to apply to your jobs. I know many companies will use a copywriter or pay for additional software just to write job descriptions. This has the ability to create that and put it into a format where you can edit it and move on. You also have your standard business style. So if you're recruiting for the FBI, you may not want that marketing twist in your email. But in this case, we'll go ahead and go with the marketing twist and generate the job description. Now, there's several things going on in the background. This has a really complex algorithm that's taking the information we've entered based on the job type, the years of experience, and so forth, and it's now checking what kind of experience and skills should somebody with that much years of experience have in their resume and be able to do. So this is going and creating the job description based on the parameters we entered and then those items. So you can see here that it added in the job description. It's created a really nice copy here. And you can pick up some of the marketing twist language in here. In particular, you can see like at this one, that we are renowned for our dedication to excellence, providing remarkable recruitment solutions to our clients, an environment that promotes professional growth and values the contributions of every team member. We're looking for a seasoned talent acquisition manager. But you can really see that this has the marketing twist, including a call to action. So you can see it there that it says apply today. Now it does create the key responsibilities for the role. I do highly recommend tailoring these specific to your company. Now, the beauty of using this AI is that it's going to generate a new job description every time. So it's never going to be the same job description no matter every company you're at. Each time you run this, it's going to be different. But I do recommend tailoring this because the algorithm and the layers and the different ways that the AI looks for talent for you will take the entire job description into consideration. So you do want to go and edit these items and tailor it. Now, I do want to point out that recruiting in the old way is actually flawed. We all log in, we all go and type in a job title. That is flawed in and of itself because companies may call positions different things, which I'm sure that anybody in recruiting has run into. And then other than just typing in the job title, we typically go in and add a couple of keywords and skills. And so we're all fishing in the same pond. I mean, it's not vastly different because there's only so many parameters you can enter in. And then also the tailoring you do may be similar to someone else looking for the same position in the same location. But in this case here, it created a nice, beautiful job description, has our diversity and inclusion statement as well. But let's, in this case, say that we like this job description. It's great. Let's go ahead and we'll save it. After it saves here, we then move into finding the candidates. So we can just pop right over. Now this is checking, it's scrubbing that entire job description, and it's now looking through a base of over 1 billion candidates. So what you just saw there in seconds, because this is live,
it went through and basically funneled down the billions of people down into this list. Now, just because I don't want to scroll for myself, we'll go ahead and let me clear the filters. You also have the ability to restore there, but let me go ahead and we'll look up Nexus Talent Connect. And apply that, and it's going to go ahead and find me in this. So now we can go ahead and select myself. You could go through and select the whole page or scrub through individually. So this is where it's the beautiful balance of being human and having the AI capabilities, because you have the ability to get the wider part of the funnel done from AI, and then you have the recruiter go through with their own skill set to select who they believe will likely be the best candidates that it generated. Now, after that, you just save the candidate, and it moves them over one tab. And so we just go to our saved candidates. It has their information here. You can visit their LinkedIn profile, view their skills and experience. And then from here, this is something I just absolutely love, will hopefully blow you away as well. So you just go ahead and click this select, and let's get an estimated match. So now AI is taking this person's information, comparing it to the job description across the entire thing, top to bottom, all the parameters, many layers, like I said, a complex algorithm. And then as we scroll down, we now have this estimated match. The good thing is I'm 90% qualified for my job, and I'll save the 10% for my incredible team back home. But basically, it's going to measure your candidates across experience, skills, and education. Now, in this case, it was a pretty brief description because I was a very close match. But when you look up technical jobs, so say you're looking for a software engineer, an RFIC design engineer, or somebody, maybe an attorney that has litigation and so forth, it's going to create a nice description here that's generated from the AI. And this is extra helpful because, I mean, let's be honest, we're recruiters. Many of us didn't go to school in the industries that we do recruit for. And this will drastically reduce ramp-up time, because this will generate this description that can be shared with the hiring manager to explain the logic behind why we think this candidate is good for this position. And like I said, it was very brief because I was a really high match in terms of this one here. So we'll go ahead and select myself for this job, and we can now go to add to campaign. So we go here, and in this case, I don't have a campaign, but I'm going to go ahead and create one here. We'll create the campaign. Now, Novius has the ability to find up to 90% of the email addresses. Generally, it actually will. Now, this is based off of work and personal. So in some cases, the work or the personal might be more available than the other. So you have a choice of reaching out to candidates on their personal email or their work email. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and any communications we do for the demo, we'll just send to my personal email and then add myself to the campaign. So right now it's importing the data, it's looking for the person's email address and then adding them to the campaign. Now we can just go ahead and hop over to the campaign, and we don't have a campaign created. If we did have one, you just can add them and then it will take over from there, automated. But just to show how this goes, you now have your email sequence. So in the email sequence, you can fully create this, but I'm just going to put here, I have an awesome opportunity for you. So we have that there, and then you can type your message. Now, the nice thing is you're able to do this in bulk. So if you did select 20 people, you can go in there and insert the variables. It's down here at the bottom, and you can select their first name, last name. You can use things for additional customization that looks at their experience. You can have it mention their job title, or you can have it mention the location. So the more customization, obviously the better, because it makes the email not sound automated and sound extra attractive to the candidate. So we'll put in here, hi first name, or hi myself, Gustavo. So I'm just going to make this real brief. So I'm just going to say, please let me know if you're interested. We can go ahead and save this. Now, the automations you have here on the left shoulder, you can add steps. So if this candidate didn't answer the first message, you can tell it, okay, follow up with the candidate in 3 days. And then if they don't answer that message, you could say, okay, follow up again in 2 days. And then, in the third message, hopefully you got that candidate, but it'll go through as many steps as you'd like automated rather than, like many of us, logging back into the platform you're using over and over to see, did the candidates respond? But in this case, it's all set up. We'll just save this. Now you'll go on to your schedule. So you do want to pick what time you want your emails to be sent at. Obviously, you don't want to be emailing your candidates at 2 in the morning. So we'll go ahead and put this from 9 to 4. You let it know your time zone, and then you select the days of the week that you'd like your email messages to be sent to candidates. Then you save, and then you have your options here. So you can let it know which email account you want it to go through, because in some circumstances, you may want it to go to a general talent acquisition inbox, or you may want it to come from your personal, and so forth. But you have the ability to send from multiple email accounts if needed. Now, here below, you have your daily limit. So each account is able to do 50 messages total per day. Now, we do this to protect your domain reputation and to make sure that Novius isn't used for spamming, because you do have the ability to pull up hundreds of people, send hundreds of messages. We just want to make sure that it leaves your domain as regarded as reputable. So it limits at 50 per day, which still gives you obviously 250 messages. And if you have a team, then it would be 50 per user. Now, the other piece that's in here that's really helpful is you can set the limit for emails for each campaign individually. If you have an urgent message, you can concentrate your messages on that position. If you have somebody retiring in 2 months or in a month and you just wanted to start building your talent pool, your pipeline, then you can limit these messages at a lower level. So that gives you the ability to select how you want to use your per day messages. The other thing that's awesome is that it is able to prioritize the new ones. So when you add a new candidate, that first email will go out before any of the follow-ups do. Any messages that aren't completed within the day just get sent in the next business day. But in this case, like I said, everything is all set up here. We'll go ahead and save the changes. And we can go ahead and start this campaign. So I'll click Start. And let's pop over here back to the campaign. And the email is now completed. So now that that email is completed, let me pull up my personal email here. And I'll show you how it looks from the candidate's perspective. So here we are. Just let me know if you're interested. Came through, obviously, like you saw immediately. Just so you know, we also stagger the messages. So the first one comes out immediately. The messages following those will be every 7 minutes. But in this case, it came right in. I'm just going to say I'm interested and then send that off. Now, there is a delay in terms of the responses because the system checks periodically for the messages. It's just every couple of minutes. So while this is going, let's go ahead and look at preparing for talking to a candidate and preparing for interviews. So Novius does quite a bit here to make sure that you are getting the best candidate. Many times companies will pay for assessment companies and that to try and make customized assessments for your candidates. In this case, you have the ability under Talent Insights to make job and experience specific assessments. So this is really exciting. You go in here to create new, and we'll go ahead and select our talent acquisition manager position. You can create a short tag for these assessments. And then you have a choice between technical and behavioral. So technical is obviously going to be asking some of the functional pieces of the job and testing their skill. And then the behavioral is your actual interview guide. So in this case, we'll make our first one. We'll make a technical guide. And we want it to be a 30-minute quiz basically for that candidate. You can create the talent insight. And then from here, we'll go ahead and let the AI generate the questions. So you just select your job, and then we'll have it just for purposes here, because I don't want to do a big quiz online, we'll just make it a quick five question quiz. So what this is doing, there's many things that are happening. So any AI that returns a response within seconds is likely regurgitating information. So this is creating a brand new guide that's never been created before. It's creating the questions that the candidate will see. It's creating the answer guide for the recruiter to review the candidate. And then it's creating a link so that the candidate can go and take the quiz. So now that this is complete, it's went through, it's selected which are the correct answers. You have the ability to add a question. So if we wanted to ask a question on, let's see here, are you awesome? So we'll just do that, and then you can save it. And then now this is part of the questions. Once this is all complete and we like this guide, you just click save. Now the second half of this is to go and create a behavioral guide. So this is incredibly powerful because many times, as I said, recruiters may not have the actual technical know-how to deep dive. If you've been recruiting in your segment for a long time, it might be easy, but as you hire new people in, or technology or information changes, it can become more challenging. So this is great because you can also provide deeper detail to your hiring managers about the candidate. So let's say we're going to do a behavioral guide and it's going to be a 60-minute interview. So this, just like the other one, it goes to create the talent insights, and then we'll just have it create 10 questions here. And it's going to be generating these questions in the same format. Now, we did add the functionality of having it create both open-ended questions, so tell me a time when, so you can test their experience. On the other side, it does have some close-ended questions that you can choose from if you decide to use them or customize them or remove them. It just depends on your own interview format and if you want a few icebreaker, maybe questions that are going to be more close-ended. But it created this guide here. And so you can see these are close-ended questions here. And then you have, in this case right here, tell me about a time you had to communicate a difficult decision to your team. How did you handle it? So these are great interview questions. And if you wanted to, you can move the questions around so that they alternate between open-ended, close-ended, and so forth. But basically, you can customize these questions. Let's say this all looks great, we love it, and we want to move forward with it. Now we can just go ahead and save the changes. And both the technical guide and the behavioral interview guide are created. Now let's go ahead and hop over to our inbox. Now, in the inbox, obviously I've been emailed a lot about my job, but you can see here that you have your new messages, the response, and so forth. Now, the box itself, you can sort it by campaign. So if you did have multiple jobs, you could go ahead and sort it that way. You can sort it on candidate status. So if you notice here in the top right, I can read the response and say, yes, this person is interested. And then it updates to let the candidate profile that this candidate is interested in the position. You can also sort by read status. But in this case here, we'll go ahead and we have the email set up that came in. We have the person's response, and now we can reply. So you have a few functions here that are really helpful. So you could type something as simple as, please schedule here. So if you have an automated scheduling system, you don't have to go back, get your link, copy, paste it. Under the settings, you can just place it in there, and then now I can click, and my scheduling link is already included. The other functionality, which is pretty incredible here, is that you're able to schedule directly from the platform. So we've done everything we can so that you do not have to switch between product A, product B, product C, just to get your job done. Imagine the time savings there. Now, if we go, we can click schedule a call. It's going to pull up your live calendar. you can create your meeting with the title, the date, all the particulars, and then you have the ability for it to send, and it will also include your Google Meets, your Teams, or your Zoom link. So there's nothing else to do. It's all automated and nice and streamlined and smooth for you. But in this case here, this candidate, obviously we don't have to schedule because I'm right here live with you. But let's go ahead and let's assign our talent insight. So we can go here to assign talent insight at the bottom, and you're going to pick which of the assessments you're interested in them taking. So obviously at this point, because this would be to screen the candidate, you can click over here and then it has it. You get the insight URL and you just copy it. So after it's copied, we can go ahead and respond to this candidate and ask them to please take this assessment. And so now we can send this message over. The message will get to the candidate immediately, and I will show you that as well. Here's the assessment here. Now I'm able to go ahead and click on the assessment, and it will take you to this page. Now the candidate will just enter, and for practice purposes here, not used for sourcing. Let's see here, time to fill. I'll try and be a good candidate in front of everybody. Deferred compensation. Let's see here. Let's go. I don't know. Okay. And describe a recruitment strategy. I'm just going to enter in some information, some fake information there. And fair hiring. There's our "You are awesome." And then we can submit the assessment. The assessment's submitted, goes back instantly. So this is all really exciting here. Now, if we go and go back to the candidate here. So let me just go here and we can view the candidate. Now you have all of your particulars. So again, the inbox is where you pretty much manage your candidates. It has information, tells you when they were sourced. It gives you that summary here. You can see a deeper summary on the candidate. And again, you can copy paste this to share with hiring managers. You have their job history, education, and then now here I have the talent insights. So I can go ahead and review this candidate, and then we'll see how they scored. And then I can score their written answers, 1 through 3, based on the strength of their answer. So here we go back, and then the candidate is complete. Now, let's say this person's great, and we want to just go ahead and submit the feedback. Oops. We'll go ahead and move this person to interview. And so the note has been saved. Now, when it comes time to interview the candidate, you just go to their same profile or their same message sequence here that you have in the inbox. You can go and assign the talent insight. And then now we're going to go ahead and do the behavioral actual interview guide. So we can get the URL for that from what we just created. We'll copy it. And then now you can just drop it into your browser and paste it. So now when you go to interview, you actually can just run it straight from your browser, take your notes directly in here. Here, obviously, the close-ended questions. I'm just for time going to move through kind of quickly. And then you'll go through and score their answers at the point you're doing the interview. But you still get time after the interview if you wanted to adjust your scoring. So this is now completed, and we can submit it. And now we'll hop back and view the candidate. And so now you'll go through, and let's go ahead and take a look at the behavioral guide. We can review it again, and then now go in and score based on those answers. Did we like those scores or those answers? Were they strong? And did they display the skills based off of experience, because this is a behavioral guide, to do the job? Now, one of my favorite things on here, and I hate to say it because it's compliance, but this has compliance check for your notes. So we have to admit, obviously we do a lot to be compliant. whether it's affirmative action and so forth. But most of us, it's actually reactionary. So you spend time to train, educate, work with the teams and that, but you don't typically find out that a hiring manager or somebody entered a note that's questionable into the system. It just happens. So if I were to put in here, and I'll just use myself, I'll put the candidate is Hispanic, and I go and try and submit this, the note is actually going to flag here, for one, that the note is potentially non-compliant. And on the back end, which is rather exciting, you get to select a person of choice that will receive a compliance email. So this is an email that just came through. It says potentially not compliant note detected. It says who was the person that wrote it, the job name, the position, who the candidate was, and what the note is. Now, the note could be perfectly innocent, because it could be that I work with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce or something like that. That's perfectly fine. But at least in this case, because of the email coming out instantly, the person working on compliance, or the TA or HR manager or compliance manager, has the ability to decide, is this a training issue? Is this a one-off? Or at least have a conversation rather quickly on the spot. So this is a massive improvement on how we typically treat compliance when it comes to hiring. So in this case, I'll go ahead and change this. And so we'll just go ahead and move to hire. So we're going to hire this person into my job. And we update the note. And now the notes are all updated. Now, what you could do is obviously you'd be able to compare the candidates across all of these different parameters. So think of how accurate and how well placed the candidate will be after you have the AI do a scrub, the recruiters pick the top people, AI runs through again to do a fine analysis against the direct job description. Then you have a skills assessment that you can send to actually test their skills. Then you have a tailored to the job interview guide that you can then use and get their information situationally to test their skills. Then you can go and make your decision. I mean, this is about as calculated and careful as you can be in hiring without impeding or impacting candidates in any way. So all of this is happening outside of the candidate's view. So you can spend more time working with the candidate, building your culture, sharing your culture and getting them on board and very interested in the role. So after this part here, you just decide if you want to move on. So this is about as simple as Novius is. It just runs top to bottom, like I said, the dashboard and that. And this is, just so you know, Novius is the only end-to-end passive solution that keeps you from moving from platform to platform. And what you should also think about is compare this to your current workflow and how you might be flipping between tabs, between programs, going back and forth, doing multiple follow-ups that really generate no value. I mean, because a lot of times candidates won't respond and things like that. So instead of that, just having everything centralized, simple, and smooth. Now from here, let me go ahead and I will shift over just one moment. Now, Novius offers flexible and affordable pricing to meet your needs. First, we have our basic plan. Now, this is for individual users that are probably recruiting 2 to 3 positions per month. Now, this is $349 per month for a single license, so a single user, and you get 250 credits. Now, the credits are so that you can get the contact information for your candidates. So basically, you can run the search 250 times to search for candidate information. And you get all of the functionality that we covered today. So we don't leave any pieces out depending on the tier you go with. Now, second, we have our professional pricing. Now, this is our medium tier, and it's set up for teams. This one is 2 to 5 licenses at $849 per month, and then they get 1,500 shared credits. So if one person is a high volume recruiter and another person is working on really difficult jobs, you can share the 1,500 credits to get the most use out of it. Now, you also get all of the functionality included, as I mentioned. And then we offer our enterprise tier where we can make a custom solution for you, everything up to unlimited licenses, unlimited credits, and then all of the functionality we covered today. Now, if you go to the Novius website, that would be novius.ai, you can get your free trial, no credit card required. And then we do also give you 10 credits so that you can test out the system, look up a few candidates, and see that it meets your needs. Now, we do also offer a discount for our annual plan. So you get an additional 10% off when you go with an annual plan off of the prices that are listed here. And then as a thank you to everybody who attended the call, I'm also going to be sending you a $100 off coupon that you can use towards your first paid month. So thank you very much for attending. Now on to the Q&A. Okay, if you have any questions, please do drop them into the chat. Oh, okay. So Joe, I see your question here. It is every 7 minutes. So that is correct. The first message comes out instantly, and then the messages after that, they come out every 7 minutes. So great question there. Awesome. So I'm hearing seeing some nice things there. Thank you, Brenda, for the comment. I really appreciate it. I think that any of us who have been in recruiting for a while or in staffing can really see the value, just because if you look at your day, tons and tons of it are just administrative follow-ups, checking things out, following up on things, and really doing a ton of activities that don't really generate candidates or interviews. So I'm going to pause for just a minute if there's any additional questions, but I'm really excited to see everybody here and see some of the comments. Thank you all for taking the time to join this live demo. If you have any questions, please message me directly or let me know if you have anything additional that may pop up. I'd love to meet with your teams in person if you'd like your own private live demo with your team or the decision maker at your company. But I really appreciate, again, all of you attending. And I think that this will hopefully make a huge impact to your recruiting. Up here on the screen, you can feel free to use the QR code, and then I'll be sure to send out the coupons, the coupon code to everybody who attended the call today. Thank you all so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it, and I wish you all perfectly well. Thank you very much.